Hey everybody, and welcome back to Mondays with Mark. It's Monday, and I'm Mark. Thank you so much for joining me this week. In case you missed last week's video, we went over 10 tips to take the stress out of moving. And this week, I decided that I continue that trend. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big fan of animals. I love them and have for my entire life. My wife and I have a dog, a Labrador German Shepherd mix that is basically our entire world. And I understand that moving is not only stressful for us humans, but it can also be very stressful for your fur babies. So I decided I'd go over 5 tips to help make the move less stressful, not only for you, but for your pets as well. So I hope you enjoy this week's video, and let's get into the tips. The first tip is to prepare your pet as best you can for the move, right? Just like us, pets can get anxious or stressed, especially when we are anxious and stressed, which moving tends to bring out in all of us. They pick up on that. And if you're stressed and anxious, chances are your pets are stressed and anxious as well. So you want to get them less stressed and more comfortable with the move. So things like introducing them to their travel carrier gradually, if it's not something that they're accustomed to, place it out in a public place, leave it unattended, put a few of their favorite toys or blankets or something inside of it, and just allow them to go in and out of it at their own leisure or over some time leading up to your move to get them more comfortable with the carrier and being in the carrier as well. If your pet does get car sick, you want to talk to your vet about some medication or anything that you can give them to help alleviate those symptoms. And you also want to make sure that your pet is microchipped and your identification tags are up to date with your new address and your contact information, just in case, shortly after the move, they do get out and go for a wander. It'll be easy to get in touch with the owners. Your second tip is to schedule a visit with your vet. You want to make sure that you get a thorough checkup for your pet and you know that it's healthy and your vaccinations are all up to date. It's also a great opportunity to discuss any concerns or any specific needs your pet may have. As I mentioned in the last tip, if your pet is prone to some motion sickness, you can bring that up at that moment, and the vet will be able to help figure out a plan that again can make the move as easy on your pets as possible. If you're moving to a different state or if you're moving to a different country or to a different province, you want to inquire any specific requirements or any regulations regarding pet transportation. Some places may require additional vaccinations or different health certificates. So it's important to be prepared and make sure you have all your documents in order to avoid any problems once you arrive. Our third tip is to maintain a familiar environment for your pet during the move. Pets, I trust me, if you're a pet owner, you know your pets live on routine and familiarity. So try to keep their daily routine as consistent as possible. Keep their food, their water bowls, their beds, and favorite toys easily accessible throughout the moving process to make sure that they're comfortable and they have things that are familiar to them. And during the actual moving day, it is a good idea to confine your pet to a safe and quiet room with all of their essentials, away from any of the commotion or unattended open doors while we're moving. If possible, maybe put them in the kennel for the day. If you know a really good kennel that you're comfortable with, or you have friends that aren't moving that are willing to watch your pets, it can really again help reduce the stress and anxiety and ensure that they're going to be safe once you do travel. Number 4 is focusing on the traveling part with your pet, right? If you're driving to a new location, you want to plan your route to include regular stops to allow your pet to get out and stretch their legs, use the bathroom, have a drink of water, all that fun stuff that us pet owners are all too familiar with. And of course, the public service announcement, you never, ever, ever want to leave your pet alone in a parked car. It can very quickly become either too hot or too cold, depending on the time of year that you're moving. So just make sure that you're planning your trip with lots of stops to let your guy out to take a walk and relieve himself. And if you're traveling by air, you want to familiarize yourself with the specific airline's pet policies and restrictions. And you want to book your pet's reservation well in advance, as many airlines have limited space for pets in the cabin or cargo hold if your animal isn't small enough to bring onto the plane. And our fifth and final tip is about helping your pet settle into your new home when you do arrive. You want to choose one room and set it up as a safe zone for your pet. And that's where you want to put all of their familiar items, their beds, their food, their water, some of their favorite toys. And you want to keep the door closed for a little while to limit their access to the rest of the home, especially if you're moving from a smaller place like an apartment to a larger space like a home. And then you want to gradually introduce your pet to their new surroundings, one room at a time. Just bring them around, let them get a sniff, let them get comfortable, and allow them time to explore and to get adjusted at their own pace. And stick to your routine as closely as you possibly can, including walk times and meal times. Just to, again, keep your animal as familiar and comfortable as possible. So that's it, guys. Those are 5 tips for moving with your furry friends. And remember, patience, preparation, and just lots and lots and lots of love are key to helping you and your fur babies adjust to their new home and make the move as stress free as possible. So I hope you found some tips in this video helpful. And if you or anyone you know are planning a move to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, well, then that's exactly why we should meet. All my information, as always, is linked in the channel information, so you're not going to have too hard of a time to find me. And thank you so much for joining me this week for Mondays with Mark, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Have a great week.